situation kind of created the specific avenue that I've been pretty interested in for a while, of kind of bridging the gap from after someone's like discharged from therapy, or a lot of people with disabilities will have like intensive rehab for a while, then they're sent home with not, I mean, they might get a home exercise program or something, but there's not a lot unless they're self-motivated to kind of keep them going, keep progressing over time. And I think programs like this are just something to bridge that gap after kind of intensive therapy, or at least integrate what they're doing in intensive therapy into their day-to-day lives, is really important. That unfortunately the healthcare system currently doesn't really have a infrastructure for playing. Like, people have to go out of their way to either get like a personal trainer or something. And I think there's a pretty big gap there. And I think that was one big thing that we focused on, was like, okay, what are you doing in rehab, intensive therapy, and what are your goals? And so like, what can we take out of what you did there, and what can we do at home exercise wise, and how can we support that with diet and stuff to complement this? And then asking about, what were you doing there, what were your goals in rehab, and then so let's make those into some at-home goals, so that it's not just the however long he had there, like 8 weeks or something, and then that's over with, and then he just goes home and stays there, but that he has a path of progression going into the future of how to keep moving forward and not just kind of get stuck in the same daily routine.
I think that's interesting, because one of the reasons behind why we tried our Bright Ideas TBI camp model, which ended up kind of morphing into us being able to partner with UAB on the We Can Do It program, is we have an OT on our regional board, our local Birmingham regional board, who works in trauma at UAB Hospital. And she said, kind of similar to what Jeff was saying, that a lot of times when someone gets discharged, you just convince yourself in your head that once they go home, that their recovery continues and they have a really solid outcome. And seeing some of our clients who were 4 and 5 years removed from their injury and still struggling with a lot of things was very eye-opening. And that's why we wanted to, because unfortunately insurance doesn't always provide the opportunity for long-term therapies. It's one of the reasons that partnering with universities and allowing students to kind of try out some things with some of our clients. And DeAndre is a little bit of an exception because his injury is more recent than a lot of our other clients. But some of the others that get to work that way. So we're happy to partner with you guys on it, because some of the ideas that you bring, and the fact that it's something that we can do in a non-insurance required way, because most of our clients don't have the resources to pay for anything out of pocket, which is the only way they could get continued therapy option that many years removed. So
yeah, absolutely. Hit the nail on the head with that. I mean, Jeff really highlighted it, but we even realized after a while, like, how we were able to utilize what he learned there and then practice new skills of, like what Jeff was saying, just bringing it back into the home. And it really is a good transition of, and just like a few examples of things, like he was really, really focused on his exercise routines, but then even Dr. Pierce helped highlight more like recovery for him. And before he would even know it, of like, you're going to get some wear and tear on your shoulders. You may seem like, he is really strong and he does really focus on that. And somebody like DeAndre, you almost have to help gear things back, because he's so motivated that you don't want him to over injure himself and then set him back a few paces. So that was something we really focused with him, and taking what he learned at Brooks Rehab and bringing it into his home workouts. And like, instead of doing heavy leg day before he practices walking or his sit to stands, he would do those before he would do his other exercises. So really honing in on leg work, balance, things that are going to help him in other areas of life, instead of just being really like, regaining that muscle again, was something that we focused on with him. So that was a cool transition that we were able to do.
Is there anything else? I promised I wouldn't keep you long, and really appreciate what you've already shared, because it really helps, because I got to see and hear about it so much from our client side. I would get emails from our clients after they finished the session and they said, I think I did really well today. And I was like, you're not being evaluated on how well you did. This is to help. But at the same time, I haven't got to hear it from the student side near as much. So I really appreciate you guys being willing to share this with me. And if there's anything else that you'd love to share, I would love to hear it. But really appreciate what you've already told me about the program.
I think one of the things that specifically helped us is I don't think our professors laid out like a certain like time barrier, amount of time we had to go or anything, but ours ended up lasting a little bit longer. It was typically about an hour session, just because typically we got cut off because we had a class right after that, just for the times that worked with him. And I think it really helped that the whole time wasn't just focusing on, okay, what did you do last week? What are the new goals? Here's how you do it. And then like send them off. Like having the time to have some small talk in between and not feel rushed or not feel like we're only just like coaching him or just a personal trainers, but like interested in all aspects of his life, that the rapport is such a big part of them being able to buy in, because just being told what to do is less motivating than like getting them interested in something. And you really like taking the time. We could tell as the weeks went on, the more and more we got to know him, that he was like what he was interested in, and that helped us set goals that we thought were more likely for him to follow. Because there were things in the beginning that we set goals that weren't necessarily aligned with what he was passionate about, and so he wasn't as like willing to try those kind of things. But as we moved on, the more we kind of got to both know each other, that it was easier and easier to suggest new things. He was more receptive, and I think we understood better. So just spending more time that's outside of the like interview process and just kind of building rapport, I think was really useful and made a big difference for us.
I think being able to focus on goals not being so set in stone and like only created by the therapist is huge. I mean, it's drilled into our heads that it is a relationship between the client and the therapist in creating goals. And I think that our setup and of We Can Do It really did a good job of that, of not pressuring like to get any type of return on, yes, they made this goal, no, they didn't. Like our goals, like Jeff said, completely changed compared to at the beginning. And that just reflects that like life happens, things change. He got this awesome opportunity to go to Brooks Rehab. And so we were able to really focus in on a few other things than maybe if he was just at home. But focus and not putting a pressure on like, oh, he didn't make this goal or not. You know, I think that's something that you guys could carry on into future programs, of letting it really be something that you and the client create together.
Really just echoing what they said. Yeah, it was difficult at the beginning because we had our own idea of what we thought would be ideal for him. And really, as we kind of got to know him better, we realized that wasn't the case. That wasn't always the best goal for him. So just like Shelby and Jeff said, really working with him to get something that he felt like he would be beneficial for him. And so in the long run, that was easier and easier as we went along. But yeah, DeAndre, he was great. He was easy for us to make goals for sure.
Well, I appreciate the three of you. I appreciate you taking time today, but more importantly, what DeAndre shared with me says so much. And I was not surprised when the faculty working with the program said that you guys be willing to talk with me, because the way that DeAndre described how he bonded with you was really special. So that says a lot about the three of you and what your future looks like. So I know that you probably don't need it, but if any point in time, as you move forward, if you would benefit from a letter of support or recommendation on some Alabama Head Injury Foundation letterhead, please reach out to me. Let me know. I'm always happy to provide that, because you guys left an imprint on me because of the impact you had on our client. And so because that could be a small thing that I could do back for you. So if there's ever an opportunity where something from me written in support of you, I would be happy to do so. So just let me know.
Thank you for the opportunity. This has been awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Thank you all. I will send you an email and let you know when I have edited the video so you can see it online and hopefully approve. If you don't like it, you can let me know and I will fix it, whatever it is. So just keep in touch with me, but I will let you know what that looks like. And otherwise, just thank you again for allowing me to do this and for sharing your testimony with me about your experience with it. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. Have a great day. I appreciate you.
Bye, Scott.
All right. Goodbye.